Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. I hope everyone's doing well today. It is 2/2020. I wanted to start this video by answering a question that somebody posted a week ago. And right behind that, I also wanted to apologize to this person because it's taken me a week to get around to putting up a audio response to his question, because I usually like to answer questions a lot quicker than a week. So it's just been one of those weeks. But this person's name is Clementi Di Camuzzi. And his question is, where is Jesus now and what is his mission? Now, I can only really answer this question based on what Benjamin Creme has said. And according to Benjamin Creme, Maitreya left his ancient retreat and entered London in July of 1977. Prior to that, 5 masters left their retreats and entered 5 planetary centers, which for most of them, with the exception of the 4th one, are major cities that we've all pretty much heard of. The first one went into New York and has been living there ever since. Then one went into London, Geneva. The 4th one, which isn't really a major city, but it's a planetary center, one went into Darjeeling, and then the last one went into Tokyo. And then he never gave a time frame, but he did say not long after that, 2 more masters left their ancient retreats and went into their centers. The first one went into Rome, and then the second one went into Moscow. Now, of these 7 masters that are living in major cities around the world since the 70s, the only one that Benjamin Creme was able to talk about was the Master Jesus, who was the one that entered Rome. The other ones he said he could not talk about for now, right? Now, since the 70s, Maitreya has been helping humanity set the stage for the reappearance of the Masters of Wisdom and the reappearance of the Christ. And 10 years ago, Maitreya finally gave his first interview on TV, but has been giving interviews on TV ever since, but just not really, speaking in a way to be recognized as Maitreya. Now, Jesus, according to Benjamin Creme's master, has been working behind the scenes, helping to save humanity too. But his future role will be one of taking over and heading the churches. That's the reason why he's in Rome, right? Now, the Master Jesus, just like any of these other masters, will not infringe on anybody's free will. So he will have to be asked by the churches for help. He's not just going to, step in one day and go to the Vatican and say, listen up, everybody, it's time you vote me in your unquestioned leader. He's not going to be like that. But I do think, from my own perspective, I do think that the Catholic Church has picked the right Pope for the time. I wish I could say the same about the President of the United States, but it is what it is. But the Catholic Church has voted the right person who's not a power-hungry megalomaniac. And I think that when the churches do ask Jesus for his wisdom and advice and counsel, he will be one that will be willing to step aside and allow the churches, the people of the churches to look to Jesus directly. So I do think that the Pope Francis is set up to be the last pope, really, for the way I see it. Now, there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of misinterpretation, falsehoods, and dogma in the churches. So there's a lot of work for the Master Jesus to do. The main purpose of any church, according to the Master DK, is to heal and to teach. And he was very critical of the Christian churches over the past, over the centuries, have taught very little and healed not really at all. So that's their future role, is to really be teachers and healers. And the Master Jesus, I'm sure, will help bring about a reorientation to the church's priorities, which will be more about aiding and helping the people, versus their, gaining more power for themselves, so to speak. I also think that once Jesus is introduced by Maitreya, that one of the first questions that he will be asked is, are you the only true Son of God? Or what do you say about that? Why do people think that? Or, however they ask that question of him. And of course, he will say that, he's not the only true Son of God. There is no only true Son of God. We're all sons of God. And I'm of the belief that Jesus, when he was in Palestine, never said that. It was all written in there by man. The whole, he's the only true Son of God. And it was written with, I think, a nefarious purpose. And it was written in there to keep control of the people. Because if you are the only arbiter of information of the, quote, only true Son of God, unquote, and if you don't believe in that, what you believe, you go to hell, well, you can have as much control and power over the people as you want. And you can see over the centuries that that's true. Jesus, I think, was a simple man. He taught the people very well. He showed and exemplified pure love in perfection, in its perfection, for the first time. Just as the Gautama Buddha demonstrated pure and perfected wisdom of the time. And therefore, he, in his teachings, he never said that he was the only true Son of God. You can't love people the way that the people look to Jesus to love their, the people with, and yet think that you're the only true Son of. I don't know. I don't really get it. I never have, but I'm sure it makes sense to some people. But when Jesus is introduced, and the Master Jesus is introduced and out known for who he is, he will be heading up the churches, and I'm sure doing other stuff, but that's his main role. Now, I wanted to end this video by reading aloud one of Benjamin Cremes Masters' articles that was written in the mid-90s. It was written in actually September of 96. Now, I do believe that these, and when I read the Benjamin Cremes Masters articles, I see them as timeless. So you can insert them into any time. So just because they were written in the mid-90s does not mean it's not pertinent to what's going on today. He talks about Maitreya's future role and, coming out open in the world, but you can almost look at it as, Maitreya is out on TV giving interviews, but he's still an incognito, so he's not known for who he is yet. So you can still kind of read into that in, that kind of thing. But so let me just go ahead and read this and end the video, but I hope it means as much to you as it does to me. But it's entitled The End of Cleavage. And it says, for years, many have awaited a sign that the Christ return is imminent. On all sides and in many lands, these signs have indeed appeared in abundance. But still the doubters doubt. Nothing, it would seem, but the sight of the Christ himself will shake the skepticism of the doubting Thomases of the world. Soon they will have no further cause to doubt, no easy rationale to explain away the myriad mysteries in their midst. Soon the Son of Man will present himself and his concerns to millions. News of his appearance will echo around the world and lead quickly to his general recognition and acceptance. Wherever men now look, they see the necessity for change. The old order is perishing, unstable and insecure. The old is falling apart. Cleavage abounds, and competition is the order of the day. The doors stand open wide for the appearance of the teacher. Very soon now the world will awaken to the fact that a teacher of immeasurable stature has entered the affairs of men, has graced the world with his presence, and awaits only the assent of humanity to begin his mission of enlightenment and succor. From then on, the process of change, gathering momentum, will transform the world. All that we see today of cleavage and violence will gradually disappear. More and more, the ways of peace will exert their attraction on men, and a new stability will be established in their affairs. Peace depends on right relationship, which in its turn depends on justice. Justice will prevail when the basic needs of all are met. The principle of sharing is the key to this divine harmony and the only forward path for the sons of men. Thus will speak Maitreya in his approach to mankind. Thus will humanity grasp the importance and necessity of sharing. Thus will they begin to see the mistakes of the past, and under his wise direction remedy them. The time is fast approaching when Maitreya can present his ideas to the world. His open mission will begin forthwith, and a new and better rhythm will impose itself on the world. Thus will it be. Thus will the, quote, fisher of men, unquote, become the teacher of men. Thus will the great ones under his lead restore to men the ancient covenants, and thus will a new impetus and direction be given to man's journey to perfection. Make ready to recognize and welcome the teacher. Fear not for the future. All will be well indeed. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.